Hi, I'm Jeff. This is Tropical Plants at 53 degrees north. Okay, so it's the beginning of March, and I thought today, because we've not done it for a while, we should have a look at what's new in the greenhouse for March. So let's dive in. And we are in. Okay, so as I mentioned on my last video, it is the start of the gardening season over here in the UK. So that means I'm out doing gardens, because yes, I have a gardening business. I've been doing it for 10 years, following on from my teaching career. I had nothing but an eclectic career, banking, teaching, gardening, and now I suppose you could say YouTubing as well, if you can call it a career for the pittance that you get, but I suppose that's down to the subscriber numbers. Maybe that will go up over time. So what I want to do today is have a look at what's going on that's new. So I haven't really done an update, a news style video for, it seems like a while. It probably isn't that long, but I only managed to get one video out last week. I had been doing 3 a week over the winter months. But now we're down to 1 a week. If I can get more in, I will do. It depends on all sorts of things. But at the moment, my priority is getting some money in, as you can imagine, with 3 months away from having any income. So that's meant there's been all sorts of other things going on as well. So that's meant I've not managed to get the videos done. However, it also meant that I didn't get into the greenhouse for a full 3 days, well, 3.5 days in fact. And there were casualties, unfortunately. It just so happened that even though it's very cold outside still, it's still well below 10 degrees, frosty at night, down to 0 at night. I didn't get into water, and it meant that because it was clear and sunny during the day, things dried up, especially over in the warmer side. So temperatures over here, even though they kept it 18 degrees, get the sun on it, it can go up to about 25 degrees. And some plants which are in full growth at the moment, like for example this Begonia Luxurians, which actually looks pretty good at the moment. You should have seen it yesterday morning, or it was actually the day before, wasn't it? It was the day before. I didn't get in yesterday either. It was all flopped over. If you follow me on Instagram, and if you don't, get over to the link in the description and you can follow me over on Instagram and get some update pics. So it looks brilliant actually at the moment. It's really recovered well. You can just about see down here on these leaves, see the crispy leaves, what actually happened to it. So I didn't get to water it for a few days and it completely wilted. The whole thing wilted over, like, so that it was bent practically perpendicular to the floor. And I did lose some of the newer leaves down below. I lost one down there which I've snapped off. I staked it because I didn't want to just leave it to the water to get it erect again. Can I say that? I'm allowed to say that on a YouTube channel. I did stake it, and that's helped it to get hydrated again, and it's actually looking brilliant again. It's in full growth, and it really uses an awful lot more water, as most plants do when they're in full growth. In fact, I think looking at it now, it's probably put a couple of inches on, a few centimetres on there. I'll stick with metric. Since just over like yesterday. I mean, I did say again on my last video, I think that because there were nice sunny days forecast for this week, that it would really make a difference in the greenhouse, and it does. It's just that extra light, just that little bump in temperatures makes a huge difference, especially because these are all the warm growing plants over here. But you know, within reason, various tolerances for each plant. So I'm going to go through some things that are new and some things that are happening. It's not necessarily a blooms video, it's just stuff that's going on that's new to you that you might not know about, that you might find interesting. I really hope that you do. That's the whole point of it, isn't it, really? So, okay, where should we start? So I have recently purchased some Saintpaulias, and most people know them as African violets, and it's a similar story with African violets. This is one that I'm looking at here. So this one is African violet midget silver fox. It is a bit of a midget, isn't it? Yeah, African violets. It's one of those, a little bit like the whole geranium pelargonium thing, that they were named African violets because they come from Africa, South Africa, and they were thought to look like the violets, or the blooms resemble those of violets, so they thought to be in the violet family. But as it turns out, they're actually in the Streptocarpus family. They're a subgenus of Streptocarpus. So seeing as I am such a Streptocarpus aficionado, I thought I would buy a few African violets. And would you believe my very first plant when I was a youngster, I think I was about 7, was an African violet, and I kept it on my windowsill, and it bloomed rather nicely for me for a long time. Didn't do much with it, never repotted it, watered it when I remembered. I mean, as you can imagine, a 7-year-old doesn't remember to water them. Perhaps Mum did it, I don't know. A 7-year-old doesn't remember to water too often. Maybe sometimes I overwatered it as well, but it survived. So I thought it'd be really nice to get into African violets, and there are some absolutely fantastic hybrids. If you have a look at somewhere like Dibley's, Dibley's do seem to be the main seller and distributor in the UK. So yeah, Gryphon, Begonia Gryphon, looking superb. It's not even getting that much light at the moment there because I've put one of those silvery things behind there. Obviously it does get what comes from the grow lights, but yeah, it's looking superb. I've give it that repot, and now it's getting really properly hydrated. I think really it was just in too small a pot for its size. Maybe as it goes a little bit bigger, I might have a go at doing some cuttings, some leaf cuttings. I know they're supposedly quite easy to do. So yes, the Tradescantia Maiden's Blush. This is its like the height of its season, when it gives you all these beautiful colours on the leaves. And I believe, now I don't know how true this is, but I did read that this was a virus that comes every year, and it's kind of triggered by cooler temperatures. Now that's clearly not true for this particular one, because this one is in the warm side of my greenhouse. It hasn't had any cooler temperatures. It's been kept at 18 degrees roughly, give or take a degree. So I don't know how true that is. It's producing plenty of colour for me, but obviously as time goes on they will turn green, and green will take over the plant. If you can just manage to hold on for another year, then you'll get them again. This is the exact same plant, still in the warmer side. This one hasn't produced those lovely colours. Don't know why. There's a little bit on there, but this is how they turn anyway. They turn green. And if you can manage to keep it like that for a full year, then you'll get the new pink growth on the top again. The Kohleria here is about to bloom. That's going to be really nice. It's looking a lot more sturdy than it was last year. It seems to be a better habit of more of a bushy habit than it was. Last year it was just like a single floppy stem. So I'm hoping that comes pretty soon. I did mention, didn't I? I've got a couple more new Hippeastrums at the back there, and I've been after some species. Cannot get species from anywhere. Maybe they sell them in the EU somewhere, but as we know, that area for us is not exactly closed off, but it's not as easy as it was last time. I did actually buy this one from Bakker. I think it's a Dutch company. And it took them a while. It took them about a month, but they still managed to get it out to me. Now, clearly, this is a Staghorn fern, so you can still get them, and it was a really nice plant, nice big plant. And somebody mentioned, because I talked about mounting it, and somebody mentioned they had theirs in a hanging basket. I think that's a good idea. I think it might be easier to deal with in a hanging basket than trying to mount a thing like that, because I need rather a big mount. I just think basket is probably the way to go for that. Listada, still on begonias here. That's coming beautiful now. A beautiful kind of streak of sunlight down the middle. Looks nice. I really like this begonia. What's it called? I'm trying not to look, see if I can remember. Soli-mutata, isn't it? Yeah. That has some really nice colours on it. Coloured foliage. Nice young leaves, red leaves. That one's coming as well. That's come back for me, the YTI, Maculata YTI. This one was from, if anyone's on Instagram, Nicholas over at Glasshouse and Garden. He has a channel, if you want to go and subscribe to him. And I wanted this one. He was selling these as cuttings, like rooted cuttings. So this is Begonia mazae, I think it's mazae F nigricans. So it's a black leaf begonia, and it's really nice, isn't it? Rather nice. I know it's got green on it as well, but I quite like that. And it's taking off now after its trials and tribulations through the post in the cold UK weather. bye.